The massive doors of the Galactic Council chamber swung open. Admiral William Carter walked in with 5 other humans behind him. His gray uniform was neat and crisp, with shiny medals that showed his many years of service. The huge round room was filled with beings from 30 different planets. Many had extra arms, strange-colored skin, or eyes that glowed. Some floated in special tanks. Others wore breathing masks. All of them fell quiet as the humans entered. Carter didn't smile. For 20 years he had come to this room to ask for fair treatment. For 20 years, Earth had given resources, soldiers, and new ideas to the Council. And for 20 years, humans had been treated like children. Today was different. Today, Earth would no longer beg. The vote is complete, Carter said, his voice strong and clear. Earth has decided to leave the Galactic Council. The room exploded with noise. Some aliens shouted. Others made high-pitched whistles or low rumbles. A few jumped from their seats. Ambassador Zarel of the Arcturian people rose up on his 4 legs. His skin turned deep purple with anger. This is foolish. Earth cannot survive alone in this dangerous galaxy. Carter looked at him calmly. We have survived worse. Your planet will be easy prey for the Rigelian Empire, warned a small green being. They have wanted your water and metals for years. Let them try, said Lisa Bailey, Earth's defense minister. She stood beside Carter, her dark hair pulled back tightly. Our fleet is ready. The council leader, a tall, thin alien with silver skin, raised his 6-fingered hands for quiet. Admiral Carter, please think about what you are doing. For 200 years, the Council has kept peace among the stars. If Earth leaves, others might follow. The system could fall apart. Carter nodded. Yes, it might. That shows how weak your peace really is. He pulled out a small device and pressed a button. A large screen appeared in the air, showing pictures and data. For the past 50 years, the Council has taken 3 times more resources from Earth than from any other world. Our soldiers have died protecting your trade routes. Our scientists have shared discoveries that made your lives better. He pressed another button. New pictures appeared. And how have you repaid us? By blocking our colonies on new planets, by charging us higher fees for using jump gates, by keeping us off important committees. The room was quiet now. Many of the aliens looked away. We didn't come here to argue, Carter continued. We came to inform you of our decision. As of today, Earth withdraws from all Council treaties. Our ships will return to our space. Our trade agreements are canceled. Our borders are closed to Council traffic. This is against Council law, shouted a bulky, rock-like being. Lisa Bailey laughed without humor. Your laws no longer apply to us. The Council leader stepped down from his high seat and approached Carter. Please, Admiral, give us time to address your concerns. Leaving like this so suddenly will cause great harm to many worlds that depend on Earth's goods. We gave you 200 years, Carter replied. Time's up. He turned to his team. We're done here. As they walked toward the door, Ambassador Zarel called out. You'll be back. When pirates attack your ships and the Rigelians move against your colonies, you'll come crawling back. Carter didn't turn around. I wouldn't count on it. Outside, the chamber, Carter's stern face finally relaxed a bit. Captain Ryan Miller, his aide, walked beside him. Sir, do you think they'll try to stop our ships from leaving? They might, Carter said. That's why I had our fleet ready before we came. They reached their shuttle. Through the viewing window, they could see their home ship, the EFS Guardian, waiting in orbit around Centauri Prime. Beyond it, 50 Earth ships had their engines glowing, ready to move. Ryan checked his comm unit. Sir, President Jones is online. She wants a report. Carter nodded and took the secure comm. Madam President, it's done. The Council has been informed. How did they take it? Asked the calm voice of Earth's leader. About as expected. Threats. Warnings, some begging. Any immediate danger? Carter looked at the scanner. Not yet, but I recommend we leave quickly. The Arcturians seem especially upset. Proceed as planned then, said President Jones. The home fleet is on high alert. All Earth citizens have been called back from Council worlds. We're as ready as we'll ever be. Yes, ma'am. As Carter ended the call, Lisa Bailey joined him at the window. Do you think we're doing the right thing, Will? Carter watched as their shuttle approached the Guardian. I don't know if it's right, but it's necessary. They were slowly bleeding us dry while treating us like second-class citizens. Better to face the dangers out there as free people than to slowly die as slaves to the Council. Lisa nodded. My grandfather would have been proud today. He always said humans didn't travel across the stars just to bow to aliens. The shuttle docked with the Guardian. As they stepped aboard, alarms began to sound. Sir, called the ship's captain. Council, defense ships are powering weapons, so they want to make a point, Carter said calmly. Signal the fleet. Quantum drives online, jump pattern Omega-3. Ryan looked worried. That's our emergency scatter pattern. Yes. If they want to stop us, they'll have to catch us first. Within minutes, the Earth fleet vanished from Centauri space, each ship jumping to a different location using the faster-than-light drives that humans had perfected. From his command chair, Carter watched the stars streak by. Soon they would be home, back to a solar system that was now fortified with the strongest defenses humans could build. You know they won't just let us go, Lisa said quietly. No, Carter agreed. This is just the beginning. But for the first time in 2 centuries, we'll face whatever comes next on our own terms. As the Guardian raced toward Earth, news of their departure spread across the galaxy. On 1,000 worlds, beings looked to the stars with worry. The delicate balance that had kept the peace was broken. The universe held its breath, waiting to see what would happen next. 6 months passed since Earth left the Galactic Council. Dr. Susan Green sat in her underground office beneath New Washington. Screens covered the walls, showing reports from across the galaxy. None of the news was good. Susan rubbed her tired eyes. She hadn't slept well in weeks. As head of Earth's diplomatic watch, her job was to monitor what happened after they left the Council. What she saw worried her deeply. The door slid open. Bill Martinez, her assistant, brought in coffee and more data tablets. Any change? Susan asked. Bill shook his head. Worse, actually. The Procyon trade routes are completely shut down now. 3 refugee ships arrived at Neptune Station this morning. Susan sipped her coffee. What happened? Pirates took over the main jump gate. The Council ships that used to protect it are gone. This wasn't surprising. For years, Earth's fleet had guarded many important space routes. When they pulled back, to defend just their own territory, those routes became dangerous. What about the Rigelian situation? Susan asked. Bill touched one of the screens. A map appeared, showing a large area of space. Several star systems were highlighted in red. They've taken 4 more neutral systems along the border, he said. No one is stopping them. Susan nodded slowly. The Rigelian Empire had always wanted to expand. Only the combined forces of Earth and the Council had kept them in check. Now, with Earth gone and the Council in disarray, they were moving fast. 4. President wants your report in 1 hour, Bill reminded her. I know. Susan gathered her notes. Tell him I'm on my way. The trip to the White House took only minutes through the underground transit system. Security was tight. Earth was on high alert, expecting trouble from many directions. President Alan Jones was waiting in the crisis room. Admiral Carter was there too, along with other military and government leaders. Dr. Green, the president said, give us the picture. Susan connected her tablet to the main display. Images and data filled the large screen. Mr. President, the situation is developing as we predicted, but faster. The Council is falling apart without our support. 4 member worlds have already announced they're leaving too. Others are forming small alliances for protection. She showed a series of news reports from different planets. Economic systems are failing. The unified currency is losing value. Trade routes are unsafe, and the Rigelians are taking advantage. Admiral Carter leaned forward. Any direct threats to Earth yet? Not militarily, Susan said. No one wants to test our defenses, but we're feeling economic pressure. Prices for off-world materials have tripled. Some medicines and tech components are becoming scarce. The defense minister spoke up. Our stockpiles will last 2 years. By then, our new factories on Mars should be producing replacements. President Jones studied the screen quietly. And the council? Have they made any official contact? Several unofficial approaches, Susan replied. They want to negotiate our return. But they're still not offering equal status. They think we'll come crawling back when things get hard. The room was silent for a moment. Everyone knew leaving the council would have consequences, but seeing the galaxy fall into chaos so quickly was sobering. Show me the Void Zone reports, the president finally said. Susan hesitated. Sir, those are concerning. She pulled up new images. These showed the far edge of explored space, an area that had always been restricted by council rules. Long range. Scans are detecting unusual energy patterns. Something is happening out there, but without access to council data, we can't be sure what. Admiral Carter frowned. The council always kept that area off limits. They said it was for safety, but never explained why. Well, we're seeing increased activity there now, Susan said, and it coincides with the council shifting defense resources away from our borders. The president stood up and walked closer to the screen. They're hiding something they used to handle that they now can't manage alone. That's my assessment too, sir, Susan agreed. Options. The president looked around the table. Admiral Carter spoke first. We stay the course. Our defenses are strong. Let the council come to us with a better offer. And if they don't? Asked the science minister. If whatever's happening in the void zone is as dangerous as it seems, Carter's face hardened. Then humanity will face it as we've faced every challenge. On our own terms. Susan wasn't so sure. The data from the void zone suggested something beyond normal threats, but she kept her concerns to herself for now. More information was needed. The meeting continued for another hour, with reports from all departments. When it ended, Susan returned to her office with new orders. Increase surveillance of the void zone and prepare contingency plans. That evening, as she worked late, an alert sounded. Bill rushed in. We just lost contact with Outpost Sigma. It was monitoring the void zone. Susan felt a chill. Show me. The screen displayed the outpost's last transmission. A small research station with 30 people aboard. Then static. Could be equipment failure. Bill suggested without much hope. No, Susan said quietly. Whatever the council was keeping contained out there, I think it's free now. She sent an urgent message to the president. Within minutes, she was called back to the White House. This time, only the president and Admiral Carter were present. I'm authorizing a reconnaissance mission, the president said. I want to know what we're facing. Carter nodded. I have the perfect ship and crew. The scout vessel Pathfinder. Captain Nancy Blackwood commands it. She's experienced and discreet. Good, said the president. Dr. Green, you'll provide mission parameters, but keep this quiet. We don't want to start a panic. Later that night, as Susan prepared the mission details, she looked out her window at the stars. 6 months ago, Earth had made a bold stand for independence. They had expected political fallout, economic challenges, maybe even military threats. But none of them had expected this. The sense that something ancient and dangerous was stirring at the edge of known space. Something the council had kept secret. Something they could no longer control without Earth's help. The universe was descending into chaos just as Admiral Carter had predicted. But for reasons no one had foreseen, the scout ship Pathfinder moved silently through space. Its special hull absorbed light and sensor scans, making it nearly invisible. Captain Nancy Blackwood stood on the bridge, watching the stars on the main screen. Status report, she said. Lieutenant Frank Willis checked his controls. All systems normal, Captain. We're at the edge of the void zone, no other ships detected. Nancy nodded. Good. Start the deep scans. Let's see what the council was hiding out here. The Pathfinder had been traveling for 3 weeks. Their mission was simple but dangerous. Find out what was happening in the restricted area of space known as the Void Zone. For centuries, the Galactic Council had forbidden any ships from entering this region. Now that Earth had left the Council, they wanted to know why. "Scan results coming in," said Ellen Park, the science officer. Her eyes widened as she looked at her screen. "Captain, you need to see this." Nancy moved to Ellen's station. The screen showed strange energy patterns unlike anything in Earth's databases. "What am I looking at?" Nancy asked. "I'm not sure," Ellen admitted. "It's like space itself is being folded somehow. And there's something moving within the folds." Frank joined them, his face showing concern. "Those energy readings are off the charts. Whatever's out there, it's not natural." Nancy made a quick decision. "Move us closer, but maintain stealth mode. We need better data." The Pathfinder edged deeper into the void zone. The stars ahead seemed to waver and bend as if seen through flowing water. "Captain," Ellen called out, "I'm detecting a structure ahead. It's massive." The main screen adjusted to show a huge ring-shaped object floating in space. It was clearly artificial, made of a dark metal that seemed to absorb light. Parts of it were damaged. "Is it a council facility?" Nancy asked. Ellen shook her head. "I don't think so. The technology doesn't match anything in our records. And look at the damage pattern. Something broke out of it, not into it." Nancy felt a chill run down her spine. "Are you saying this was some kind of cage?" "That's exactly what I'm saying," Ellen confirmed. "And whatever was inside is now free." The ship's alarms suddenly blared. Frank rushed back to his station. "Energy surge. Something's approaching fast." "Evasive maneuvers," Nancy ordered. "Get us out of here." The Pathfinder turned sharply, its engines straining as it accelerated away from the mysterious structure. But it was too late. A wave of strange, dark energy washed over the ship. All systems flickered, and for a moment, everyone on the bridge saw something through the view screen. A vast, shadowy presence, neither solid nor gas, but somehow alive and aware. Then it was gone, and the ship was moving again, racing out of the void zone. "Damage report," Nancy demanded. "Minor systems damage," Frank reported. "Main drive still functioning, but, Captain, that thing scanned us. It was in our computers for a few seconds." Nancy's face hardened. "What did it take?" Ellen checked the logs, star charts, colony locations, defense patterns. She looked up, her face pale. "It knows where we live now." "Set course for Earth," Nancy ordered. "Maximum speed. We need to warn them." The Pathfinder raced through space, pushing its engines beyond safe limits. Behind them, strange energy readings suggested they were being followed, though nothing appeared on visual scans. During the journey home, Nancy and her crew analyzed the data they had gathered. The picture that emerged was frightening. "They're called the Void Harvesters," Ellen explained during a briefing. "At least that's what I translated from the ring structure's warning beacons. They're not life as we understand it. They're more like living energy that feeds on other energy, including the energy of living beings." "And the Council knew about this?" Frank asked. "Not just knew," Ellen said. "They've been containing them for centuries. That ring was part of a network of prisons and warning systems, but when Earth left and the Council fell into disorder, the containment failed," Nancy finished grimly. "There's something else," Ellen added. "According to the data, the Harvesters have a hive mind. They learn and adapt quickly, and they're drawn to concentrated energy sources. Like our fusion plants," Frank said. "Our cities." Nancy nodded. "And they're heading for populated systems now." 2 days later, as they approached Earth space, they received an emergency transmission. Tau Ceti 4, a former council world with 3 billion people, had gone dark. All communications stopped in just 12 hours. Nearby ships reported seeing a shadow falling over the planet before all contact was lost. When the Pathfinder finally reached Earth, Nancy was immediately taken to the White House. President Jones, Admiral Carter, and Dr. Green listened in stunned silence as she reported what they had found. "So the Council wasn't just a political alliance," Dr. Green said when Nancy finished. "It was a defensive pact against these void harvesters." "Why didn't they tell us?" Carter demanded. "Would we have believed them?" the president asked quietly. Or would we have thought it was just another trick to keep us in line? Nancy showed them the final piece of evidence, a recording of the shadow entity they had encountered. The room fell silent as they watched. How do we fight something like that? Carter finally asked. According to the data we found, Nancy explained, the Council species worked together to create the containment technology. Each race contributed something unique. Humans might have been brought into the Council specifically because they needed our help with the containment. And we left, Dr. Green said. We broke the system without knowing what it was for. The president stood up, his face grave but determined. We made a choice based on the information we had. Now we have new information, and we need to make new choices. He turned to Admiral Carter. Contact the Council. Tell them we know about the harvesters. We're ready to talk. Carter looked uncomfortable. Sir, after how we left, they may not welcome us back. Then we'll have to convince them, the president said firmly. Because if what Captain Blackwood found is true, none of us will survive alone. As the meeting ended, Nancy stood by the window, looking up at the night sky. Somewhere out there, ancient hungry shadows were moving between the stars drawn to the light of civilized worlds. Earth had withdrawn from the Council to stand on its own. Now they faced a threat that no world could face alone. The universe had indeed descended into chaos, but not for the reasons anyone had expected. The meeting place was an abandoned space station in neutral territory. Once it had been a busy trading post. Now it floated empty and silent, a victim of the growing chaos in the galaxy. Inside the main conference room, Admiral Carter waited, with Dr. Susan Green and Captain Nancy Blackwood. They had come alone without guards to show good faith, but each carried a small weapon just in case. They're late, Carter said, checking his watch. Susan nodded. They'll come. They need us, as much as we need them. If they even believe us, Nancy added. She had spent the past week preparing reports on the void harvesters. The evidence was clear to her, but would the Council accept it? A soft hum announced the arrival of another ship. Minutes later, the door slid open. 3 beings entered: Ambassador Cyril of Arcturus, Admiral Vox of Rigel, and High Counselor Trell of Centauri Prime. Carter stepped forward. Thank you for coming. We are here only because 2 more worlds have gone dark, Zrel said coldly. His purple skin looked dull, and his 4 legs moved stiffly. He was clearly tired. Belarus 3 and Omega Station. 7 billion lives, gone. Susan moved to the table and activated a display. Then you know what we're facing. Admiral Vox, a tall, muscular being with gray skin, nodded. The harvesters have broken containment. Your leaving weakened the network. We didn't know, Carter said firmly. You kept the truth from us for 200 years. High Counselor Trell sighed. His silver skin reflected the dim lights. It was the first protocol. No new race is told about the harvesters until they have proven themselves loyal to the Council for at least 3 centuries. That's a stupid rule, Nancy said bluntly. She stepped forward and played the recording from the Pathfinder's encounter. These things are destroying worlds now. We need to work together. Admiral Vox studied the recording. Your ship got closer than any of our scouts. What else did you learn? Nancy shared everything they had discovered. The damaged containment. Ring, the way the harvesters seem to feed on energy. Their ability to learn and adapt. They're moving faster than we predicted, Trell admitted. The old containment technology won't work now. They've adapted to it. Then we need something new, Susan said. Something they haven't seen before. The meeting continued for hours. Old anger and mistrust still lingered, but the shared threat forced them to set those feelings aside. By the end, they had the beginnings of a plan. Earth's quantum field technology might be the key, Vox said. It's different from anything the Council races developed. And the Arcturian phase shifters could disrupt their energy patterns, Carter added. Zrel seemed hesitant. This assumes we can get close enough. The harvesters destroy anything that approaches them. Nancy spoke up. Not everything. The Pathfinder got away. All eyes turned to her. She continued. Our stealth system confused them, at least temporarily. They detected us eventually, but we had time to gather data and escape. Could we deploy weapons using similar stealth technology? Trell asked. Possibly, Carter said. But we'd need to coordinate. A single ship or weapon wouldn't be enough. A joint fleet then, Vox decided, with ships from all our worlds using combined technology. Susan looked at the council members carefully. This would require sharing secrets none of our worlds have shared before. Yes, Trell agreed. But the alternative is extinction. They worked out the details. A message arrived from Earth. President Jones appeared on the screen. Admiral, we've detected a large energy distortion moving toward the Proxima system. Intelligence suggests it's a harvester cluster. Carter frowned. Proxima Centauri? That's only 4 light years from Earth. They're getting closer, Nancy said quietly. The mood in the room darkened. Proxima Centauri was home to 3 populated planets and nearly 5 billion people. We need more time, Vox said. The joint fleet won't be ready for at least 2 weeks. Nancy studied the star charts. What if we delay them? The Pathfinder confused their sensors once. Maybe we can do it. Again, on a larger scale. A decoy mission? Carter looked thoughtful. It's risky. I'll lead it, Nancy said. My crew knows what to expect now. We can modify several scout ships with our stealth technology and draw the harvesters away from Proxima. Zrel clicked his, mandibles, a sign of respect in his culture. Your people would risk themselves to save Proxima, after how the Council treated Earth. This isn't about old grudges, Nancy replied. If the harvesters take Proxima, Earth is next. Within hours, the plan was set. Nancy would lead a small fleet of 6 stealth ships to distract the harvesters while the major worlds prepared their defensive technology. It wasn't a perfect solution, but it might buy enough time. As the meeting ended, Admiral Carter pulled Nancy aside. This mission, the chances of success are low. I know, she said calmly. But we need to try. I should be the one going, Carter insisted. I led the withdrawal from the Council. This is my responsibility. Nancy shook her head. You're needed here to coordinate the joint fleet. My crew and I have seen the harvesters up close. We know what to expect. Carter finally nodded. Good luck, Captain. Earth is counting on you. The whole galaxy is. As Nancy left to prepare her ships, Susan and Carter remained with the Council members working on the larger plan. Will this new alliance hold? Susan asked quietly as they watched the representatives from other worlds conferring. It has to, Carter replied. We know the truth now. The galaxy can't survive divided. Susan looked out the viewport at the stars. 6 months ago, they had walked away from the Council in anger, tired of being treated as lesser beings. Now they were working side by side as equals, facing a threat none of them could handle alone. Sometimes, she thought, you had to break something completely before you could rebuild it properly. The old Council had been flawed, built on secrets and inequality. Perhaps this crisis would forge something better from the ruins if they survived. The Earthship Guardian led the combined fleet through space. Over 300 vessels from 20 different worlds flew in formation behind it. Each ship carried special weapons designed to fight the Void Harvesters. It had taken 3 weeks of hard work and cooperation to build this force. Admiral Carter stood on the bridge looking at the tactical display. The small dots representing Nancy Blackwood's decoy ships were moving away from Proxima Centauri, drawing the harvesters after them. So far, the plan was working. Signal from Captain Blackwood, said the communications officer. The harvesters are following them. They estimate 2 hours before they reach the ambush point. Carter nodded. Tell all ships to prepare for battle. Beside him, Admiral Vox of Rigel studied the same display. Your captain is brave. The decoy mission has already lost 2 ships. They knew the risks, Carter said quietly. Everyone here does. Susan Green entered the bridge, accompanied by scientists from 3 different worlds. For days, they had been working together to combine their technologies. The quantum disruptors are ready, she reported. Each ship now has them installed, but they're untested. We don't know if they'll work against the harvesters. We'll find out soon enough, Carter replied. The fleet moved into position around a small uninhabited star system. Here they would make their stand. If they failed, the harvesters would continue to Proxima Centauri and then to Earth itself. 1 hour until contact, the tactical officer announced. Carter opened a channel to the entire fleet. This is Admiral Carter. For centuries, our worlds lived apart, often in conflict. Today, we fight together. The enemy we face threatens all life in the galaxy. They believe we are just food for them to consume. Today, we prove them wrong. Messages of support came back from ships across the fleet. Even Ambassador Zrel, watching from a Centauri vessel, sent his agreement. As they waited, Susan approached Carter privately. Will, if this works, what happens afterward? Do we go back to Earth's isolation or rejoin the old council? Carter shook his head. Neither, I think. The old council is gone. Whatever comes next will have to be different. Equal. Built on truth, not secrets. And if we fail today? Carter looked her in the eye. Then none of it matters. Every world will fall, one by one. The warning came suddenly. Harvester energy signature detected. They're coming in fast. On the main screen, space itself seemed to bend and twist. Dark, flowing shapes moved through the distortion like living shadows. The harvesters had arrived. Behind them came the 4 remaining ships from Nancy's decoy fleet, racing to rejoin the main force. All ships battle positions, Carter ordered. Captain Blackwood, well done. Fall back behind the main line. Negative, Admiral, Nancy's voice came back. We've studied their movements. We're staying in the fight. The harvesters surged forward. As they came closer, the true horror of them became clear. They weren't solid beings, but vast fields of dark energy that absorbed light and life. Where they passed, matter itself seemed to wither and die. First attack wave. Engage. Carter commanded. 50 ships moved forward, firing the new quantum weapons. Beams of blue-white energy struck the harvesters. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the dark shapes recoiled, parts of their flowing bodies disrupted by the attack. It's working, Susan said excitedly, but the harvesters adapted quickly. They changed form, becoming more scattered and harder to hit. Then they struck back. Tendrils of dark energy reached out, touching several ships. Those vessels instantly lost power, their crews falling silent. Second wave, target those tendrils, Admiral Vox ordered. More ships moved forward using different weapons. Some fired Rigelian plasma cannons. Others used Arcturian phase disruptors. Each had some effect, but none seemed to cause lasting damage. They're learning, Susan said. Watching the data. Every weapon we use becomes less effective as they adapt. Carter made a quick decision. All ships rotate weapons. Don't use the same attack twice in a row. The battle continued for hours. Ships were lost on both sides. The harvesters' numbers decreased, but so did the fleets, and the creatures kept adapting, getting stronger. Then Nancy's voice came through the communications. Admiral, we've spotted a pattern. There's a central node within the harvester mass. It's controlling the others. Carter studied the sensor data. I see it, but it's deep within their formation. We can't reach it. We can, Nancy replied. The Pathfinder's stealth system still confuses them briefly. We can get close enough. To do what? Carter asked. Our engine core is damaged, Nancy explained. If we overload it inside that central node, the explosion might disrupt their entire network. The bridge fell silent. Everyone understood what Nancy was suggesting. A suicide mission. There has to be another way, Carter said firmly. There isn't, Nancy replied. And you know it. This is our best chance. Susan checked the data again. She's right, Will. The central node is the key. Nothing else is working. After a long moment, Carter nodded. Permission granted, Captain. And thank you. The Pathfinder turned and headed straight for the harvester mass. Its stealth systems made it almost invisible until it was deep within their formation. Then the dark energy tendril sensed it and reached out. Now! Nancy's final command was heard across the fleet. A brilliant flash of light erupted at the heart of the harvester. Swarm. The quantum core explosion rippled outward, disrupting the dark energy patterns. The central node collapsed, and with it, the coordination of the entire harvester force. All ships, attack now, Carter ordered. Hit them while they're disorganized. The combined fleet surged forward, using every weapon they had. Without their central control, the harvesters couldn't adapt quickly enough. One by one, they were destroyed or forced to retreat. 3 hours later, the battle was over. The harvester force was defeated. But the cost had been high. 87 ships lost, including the Pathfinder and her brave crew. On the Guardians, Bridge, Carter, Susan, and the commanders from other worlds held an emergency meeting. This was only one group of harvesters, Admiral Vox warned. There will be others. Then we'll be ready, Carter replied. Together. High Counselor Trell spoke up. The old council is gone, but perhaps we can build something better in its place. A true alliance of equals. Susan nodded. With shared knowledge and technology, no more secrets. As the ships headed home carrying news of both victory and sacrifice, Carter stood alone by the viewport. The stars looked different to him now, filled with both danger and hope. Earth had severed ties with the Galactic Council, and the universe had indeed descended into chaos. But from that chaos came the chance for something new, something stronger, and it had only cost them everything.